Hello and good morning to everybody. How are we all doing today? We're going to be hopping straight into it. Now we're just going to be concentrating on basically what we were doing beforehand, just getting up our education level. Try to finish out all the technology for this era, for our culture. And while we're doing that, mostly just letting the Empire stabilize and continue reclaiming the Mediterranean, we're going to also be pushing more into the Iberian Peninsula. And while we were gone, I went ahead and set up the Provincia Hispania. So we have our second kingdom level type. So we have our Republic Kingdom type, which is the Roman Senate. And then we have the Provincias. Basically, we're at a point where we can't really have more large-scale vassals that are, just duchy tiers, because we have so many different themes. So now we're setting up in important regions just Provincia. So the first one of the Provincia to be set up is over here in Hispania. Eventually we are going to continue with the... Let's see. Don't know if I already did this. So we're gonna ask for more, a little bit more of everything. We're going to give them fortification rights. So they keep giving us stuff. Actually, lower levies. Just so they have enough that they can properly keep control of the province. Vacation rights. Could give them consul rights. Don't really like giving vassals consul rights though, because I like having control on who I put on different spots and where. So we just have to wait for the truce with Hispania to basically end. But while we do that, we can also declare a holy war for a different duchy if we want. This one here will do. Isolate him. Still have people paying us homage, which is always nice, and we're just going to raise up the armies. Got ourselves another point. I do like having our realm priest like us. Having him become a theologian would be pretty nice. And we're safe from smallpox. Just sell that off. Now they will have their unique Iberian court. I wish the Roman Senate would have its own, but that's fine. Interesting. Our vassals are having a little spat between one another. We're just gonna keep upgrading. On the first child between our heir. We'll have her educated by ourselves as a diplomat. I hate that we inherited this. Grant this title to them, and hopefully their line doesn't die out. We'll grant the artifacts from this person. Send the Holy Order after them. How you doing, Arcane? Just let them beat them down. And I'm glad you've been watching for so long. It'll take a little while to get through one of the grand cities and their defenses. Luckily, the armies are just absolutely huge. I don't get how that's even... I'm doing alright. Just woke up and I'm like, I'm gonna stream. Keeping an eye on the Gasavids over here. As long as we don't have any unforeseen consequences. Coming from the east. We're free to keep pushing and reclaiming more and more of the lost provinces. Send them up there. They're really destroyed on the walls, so we'll assault and see if we can take them without losing too much. And that looks good. Looks like we are pushing quite handsomely. Go hit this one up here. Chase their army with our holy order. That should be the victory. One of these is going to be the victory. The Prince of Fashion. Got another daughter. Have her educated. Cultural acceptance with the Avars going up, that's nice. I don't know why they're not granting territory out. Like, both of our kingdom level vassals are not granting territory for some reason, and I don't get it. They just have the vassals that I gave them. Get another one for our culture. Let's see how well Constantinople has grown. We're almost to 80%. Almost maxed out. I know I've said this a few times, but Constantinople is the one province that's the quickest just to absolutely run away with when it comes to development. Especially in City of Wonders. We're almost to the 11th century. How much more do we need to destroy this? Oh, we're getting there. The way that we keep taking these guys down. Anything useful? Doesn't look like it. good. Now... what artifact did they actually steal? Because I don't see it. Apparently they didn't steal anything. At least of importance. And we're gonna blind her. Yep. That's a proper punishment. And we had somebody else no longer be our court physician. Search again. Now you may be wondering, how come we're just not just speed blitzing through, capturing all of Iberia like we have with the rest of the Empire? And while it's kind of cheesy, even though we could sit there and get away with it, I'm also thinking that we can't get away with it as much as we have been. Let's see if he will. Let's take the vowels. There we go. This Empire title looks like it might be the first in India to actually get properly formed. The Bengal. Really got to keep an eye on this section of area because it's about to get really interesting. Especially now that Acho is completely dissolved. We're starting to see the different Mongolic groups become a lot more active. And we got ourselves another son. So this will be Constantine the Ninth. And this will be Constantine the 10th. And hopefully he is not like the actual Constantine the 10th. We've had a dynasty full of Constantines. Constantines. Really, we don't have a treaty with these guys. Interesting. Really interesting, actually. What just happened? Okay, yeah, they fell apart. That's what happened. Now, I could be using our special Casus Belli, but I don't need to be doing that. Something about forming the Roman Empire that I will go and tell you is the special Imperial Reconquest Casus Belli that we get to start reclaiming all the different empire. It only really looks, and not looks, but really works if you're redoing it from the west. Because if you're doing it from the Eastern Roman Empire, like the proper Roman Empire, and reclaiming, you're going to be most likely Orthodox unless you switch to being Catholic for some reason. And even switching to Catholic, you are going to grab the necessary territory. But you don't necessarily have to have Jerusalem, and you probably won't have some of the other spots, and they could be lost for Catholicism and their holy sites. So most likely, as the Orthodox, you're going to probably mend the Great Schism, and whenever you mend the Great Schism, you can holy war against Catholics and any other Christian, because you've basically stirred up the pot, to say. Because you've basically taken the decision one church, and everybody else is heretics. And we'll accept their gift. Princeps. Now we're just going to leave besiegers over here. Look at our glorious mustache and our bald head. And we're just going right through all of our cultural fascinations. Let the traitor be known, throw him in jail. There we go. Another cultural fascination is done. Now we'll get boroughs. See, their capital is over here, so we're just gonna have them march their little happy butts right over to it. Why do they have a Viking? You all saw that, right? He had a Nordic... Is this a Nordic? No, it's Andalusian. How did he have a Nordic commander? Is there even any Norse culture down here? No. There isn't. We're gonna have our sons slowly take over different court positions. Have different ones take different vows. And right now I just want to have a bunch of characters become certain people, like priests and stuff like that. There we go. And it won't be long before we can launch another war. Something I wish, and getting it to trigger is a bit of a hard thing to do in the coding for some reason, in particular with this. Yeah, it wasn't much of anything. But having the Iberian struggle kick back up, because this would definitely re-trigger the Iberian struggle. Holy Roman Empire is pushing into West Slavia, which I'm surprised has actually stayed together as long as it has. A united Slavs is definitely actually a proper threat to the Empire. Russia, the Baltic Empire. Make him go to a physician. Where is that even being equipped? Not here. I don't know. I literally just do not know where that's actually being equipped. It's not one of our books. It's just weird. It's really weird. And we're just gonna release everybody. Keep up that good faith. Yeah, you're not getting my artifact. It's mine. Declare another holy war. Looks like we're leading this one ourselves. Any fun decisions that we can take? Not really. Nothing that we would want to do. Oh no, we gained a rival. How horrid. And we got another daughter. Oh, granddaughter. And our Warhammer's more famous. It'd be nice if we had a big enough army that we could actually worry about and fight in Crusader Wars, but it's to the point where it's just like... our primary force just steamrolls. And the only reason why I'm, using just this and not, the Imperial Tagmata is we want to finish this as quick as possible, too. Simply because I'm worried situation's about to get bad in the east. With the Gasavids. Having a proper rival in the east will definitely hamper some of our expansion for a little bit. Breaking them down. And we got their war banner. It'll make a fine addition to my collection. We're going to actually give it to... our nephew. So he can display it in his court. And he should be displaying it. Or at least relatively soon. break these guys down. We're all just gonna go back over here and hit these guys again. We're just gonna march towards the capital. Now I will go and say, right now, while we're basically taking care of the minor issues that are going on, I am starting to work on the endeavors that will become the next little series that we're going to be doing when it comes to Crusader Kings, which is going to be our Made for YouTube series, which will be a good bit longer series. We're going to go a little bit slower, we're going to yet again be up here with the Norse, but we're going to be using it to basically talk about some actual history and just basically enjoy a nice roleplay and not sort of just try to speed through and reconquer everything like we're doing right now. Because we've been doing some very minimum roleplay. We keep escaping our dungeons. How dare they want to seek freedom? Unlock profit. There we go. I don't know why he's not giving out the territory, but hey. Oh well. We're making very good progress here in Hispania, though. A lot more than I thought I would. Also, Europe is a lot more put together than I would be expecting. Constantine VIII, the Glorious. Again, we could just declare war on them. Treaty is gone, we can deal with it as we please. I want to go for the rest of Cordova. Because I'm thinking that's why we can't, why he's not actually giving out territory. Curse undone. Ah, yes, we can upgrade our mines. Which would be very nice. We're officially now in the 11th century. Now they're having yet another Liberty War over here, which we need to intervene with. Because if they get liberty, I believe that they'll also become independent from the Empire. Since for some reason this didn't get incorporated whenever we formed the title. Speaking of, how much? 11 more years and Jerusalem will be integrated. Defender of the Faith. Zealous vassals are going to really like us right now. The Gasabids are really advancing. So the 11th century for the Eastern Roman Empire in actual history, it starts out pretty strong. We would see the Romans gain a lot of its former strength back, and basically is full-on the dominant power within the Christian world. Even the Islamic states really didn't match it in strength. And what kept it really from continuing its expansions out after the death of Basil II is the entire time of the 10th century is mostly marked by internal imperial court intrigue. This would all accumulate in the colossal battle at the very end of the 11th century at Mazakert. And it's the Battle of Mazakert that really started the final death nail of the Roman Empire. Because after that, it never truly recovers. It's just a slow, steady decline. We're really out of money. We went into the Iberian campaigns and doing all of this just swimming in money. And we've basically bankrupted the whole area. Crazy. Hello, hello. We're just gonna capture their capital and then go over here and smack down their army again. Actually, we captured their leader, so boom, Cordova's under control. Yes, how can one help? just gonna let our money recuperate, apparently. Now, if you give out your titles, that'd be very nice. Ah, yes, we need to actually physically get involved in this real quick. So, one last little escapade. So we'll pay ransom and offer to join war. As we come to the defense of the Roman Senate yet again. Yeah, the thing is, my, the console isn't giving out titles either, so I don't know why it's not doing it. Like, the external lords are doing it. But why aren't the internal lords doing it? Yep, the biggest change out of all the mods that are used is Crusader Wars. The rest of them are just purely visual, and then my own personal mod that puts it back into a much earlier start date. Which we're way past anything from my mod at this point. And we're going to pick up Theologian. Yeah, starting in the Age of Charlemagne is something I've always quite liked it. It's one of my favorite start dates in Crusader Kings 2. Because I'm just a fan of having, like, my own personal games last a lot longer. We're just gonna let their armies gather into a trap. Come up here, hit this. If they would actually have a bigger army, hitting them with actual Crusader Wars would be nice. When we upgrade our mines, that should definitely improve everything. Gassivids are definitely something. Thank you for the follow. Moderation. She's our daughter. God darn it, Constantine. Well, thank you. This particular series hasn't been extremely detailed as I like it to be. And the Roman Senate's victorious. So now we can just recuperate our losses. And we somehow won that. I mean, if they can run this whole thing without giving it out, they can. They can be my guess. My main thing, as long as they don't destabilize the Empire itself, which doesn't seem like they're doing. Actually, outside of a few little spots, the Empire is extremely stable. Especially in our core regions over here in the east. And we've got another cultural fascination done dealt with. And this is the power of having a character devoted to learning. Go with bailiffs. An additional building slot would be very nice. Ah, the Italian peninsula has completely converted to our culture. So at least our vassals are doing something about it. Let's upgrade our buildings over here. Just want to pick up Ck3, that keeps us from having so much stress. And then we're going to switch out of the learning lifestyle. Because I really don't want to pick up Know Thyself. Yeah, it lets us know when we're going to die, but it's kind of a double-edged sword. Actually, Diplomacy, then Groom to Rule would be nice. Maybe just go down Patriarch. Yeah, it's really annoying. It just sets a hard, like, oh hey, you're gonna die this year. Fallen rival. Good riddance. So the Holy Roman Empire really hasn't been around for a long time looking at the title history. Become a rival with a child? That's funny. The Roman Empire. I'm thinking Constantine the Ninth, the Prince of Fashion. Basically a walking Michael Jackson joke right there. But we might dedicate his life to just destroying the Holy Roman Empire. Or at least finishing up the campaign over here. He's a good commander. He's got his lineage all pretty well set up and done and dealt with. Oh, look at that. I definitely want to have the Iberian campaign done and dealt with, because the Gasavids, yeah, they're looking scary themselves, but I'm more worried about what's coming next, which is the Seljuks. And the Seljuk Empire is positively terrifying when it spawns. How close is our integration? Just 7 more years. We are 56, we should live that long. I imagine we will. And our youngest daughter has come of age. And we will marry her off to the consul. Now, unfortunately, I can't mod it in like I've tried multiple times to have like 2 rulers. So there would be the 2 different consuls of Rome, but I couldn't really do that. And it wouldn't really make sense to bring in the extended imperial governments. Mostly because the extended imperial government and all of that, it makes sense if it was a more entrenched, but by this point the Imperial Senate has been long dead of any of its actual power. It's only been really gifted control over Italy to run the affairs of the peninsula. And Rome itself again. But don't get me wrong, it is extremely neutered. So we can declare ourselves war all over. So I want to grab... What do you mean I can't? Okay, I can't. Not on that one. It's up here. Push in the campaign even more. It's going to make up basically the whole province look quite nice. They might be done for now with their scripted wars. And the Cuman Kipchaks are falling apart, which is very nice. Having the Cumans no longer be a threat. Though they didn't really deal with us directly. Looks like the entire steppe region's going to be. Ah, cool. This is a awesome actual event. This is the supernova of 1006. This is the Crab Eye Nebula being formed. So basically, where the Crab Eye Nebula is, you can look at it today and see the whole thing through. Even you can kind of see it with the naked eye, but if you look with the telescopes, you'll be able to see it quite easily. The star went supernova in 1006, and it was seen. Yep, and we get to actually have the artifact. And we get to have this. Unique little trinket, just telling us about the supernova that we saw. But the records of the supernova was seen in Europe, in China, pretty much everywhere across the world. It was visible even during the daylight. Basically, very similar to what will happen if Betelgeuse goes supernova in our lifetime. Try to rip them apart. Comes their other army. Room to rule, a very nice decision, especially early on. Now, since we started in the Age of Charlemagne, we are just now starting to get out of the early game. We're still technically in the early game. And the big challenges for the Empire are really coming up. And the first and probably the most dangerous one is definitely the Seljuks. And more of Iberia has fallen back under Imperial control. Give out territory, please. Starting to get quite ridiculous, man. Because potentially we're going to have 3 Spawn Empire events come across. Well, realm events. We're going to have the Seljuks to deal with, which is going to be the biggest threat, because they're going to form a pretty big section before we can even go and deal with them. Then we have the Norman invasion of southern Italy. That's going to happen. And we have a chance of the Moroccan Empire spawning and trying to retake Iberia. Strong potion. What will the strong potion potentially do? Give us a medium health boost? Only God gives us strength. Because he's actually a good physician, so we'll keep him. This is really interesting. A lot of their territory has fallen back under this. So in real history, even though in this universe the Holy Roman Empire established a Saxon kingdom in England, this would be at the height of the battle for what would become England, even though England would have been formed. The subjugation of the North would be going on, and it's also kind of a bit of a black period in English history because we just don't know much of what's going on in the North during this time. Have our Orthodox kingdoms and our not so Orthodox kingdoms. Be nice if you take the vowels, buddy. You'll do so much better. And he takes it this time. And with that final little section of Iberia brought back, for the first time since the collapse of the Western Roman Empire and the campaigns of Justinian, truly the Mediterranean is once again a Roman lake. A sculpture? Oh yeah, I could use another. We could do with another statue in the court. No thanks, you're not getting anything. Look at all the money that we've reincorporated. It's a nice bit of wording there. Reacquired, let's put it that way. And what would be good for us right now would be some leisure palaces. It's always good to have a set of them and some academies. If you're playing vanilla game, military academies is very good, but we don't really need them since we're using Crusader Wars for any of our real serious fights, where it would actually count. Have a court event. They really need to change holy orders and like make them better. Because once you give them like a territory, they just don't do anything. I have more important people to impress. And it's been a little while since we've actually done anything. So yet again, it's time to have another grand tournament within Constantinople. Start out in a recital. And we'll end in always our main event, which is the great horse races. I wish for the Empire that this should actually be a flavor tech, well, at least flavored instead of horse races. It should be chariot races. Because chariot races were still going on clear up until Constantinople fell in 1453. And we won't have a champion. We're just gonna let whoever wins, wins. This is more just for our vassals. So when you don't have a personal champion like this is just basically giving a chance for any of your vassals to earn a little bit of prestige, makes them like you a little bit more. It gives you prestige as well. So it's not like you're not getting anything. Keep up the good work. So we're just gonna let it do its thing. To a point where we can usurp this. We should be getting close. It was a boring event. Now, the Battle of the Recitals would also be very popular up here in Scandinavia, as having the Battle of the Tongues was a pretty common thing in Nordic society. Presenting state gifts, that's very nice. No, we're not gonna legitimize in any formal way. Marrying off one of our granddaughters, that would be basically legitimizing the be legitimizing their rule. And we finished the grand tournament. Now, for those watching on YouTube or just now joining us and wondering how come we haven't reclaimed the capital of Rome? So basically, after the 300s, when Constantine moved the capital, Constantinople, even when the empire was divided into East and West, was always the true heart of the empire. Rome had lost its significance, but it remained a very important cultural and spiritual center of the empire. And when the Western Empire was crumbling for a short amount of time, it did become capital of the West again. But for in all intents and purposes, when it comes to like all of the major purposes of the empire, Rome is second fiddle to Constantinople. And the reason for it is, one, in the East there was a lot more problems at the time, and they were always having to go across. And it was a lot more important, the Eastern provinces, than the Western provinces. Purely money and all of that, why the Western provided more manpower. But one of the biggest reasons actually goes clear back to the Gallic sack of Rome, clear back in the early days of the Republic. Basically, the reason why we don't know anything about the early days of the Roman kingdom is simply because when the Gauls came down and sacked Rome... Oh, we got an awesome statue. There we go. But when the Gauls came down and sacked Rome, outside of the very most important section of the city, and even that was looking like it was probably burnt too, the city was practically destroyed and had to be completely rebuilt, and all of what became basically the sides and satellite states of the early Roman Republic all rebelled and started to attack them. So when Rome was growing, being the nature they were constantly being attacked and trying to get wiped out, they rebuilt the city very haphazardly. It's how come Rome, outside of like the rest of the Roman cities, is kind of a confusing mess with its street layout compared to the normal Roman cities. So when Constantinople was basically when the city of Byzantium was completely rebuilt and turned into Constantinople, it was built with being a capital in mind. It is a purpose-built city for that. Has grand access to the water. It's in between the mightiest trade routes, going all the way to China, the Silk Road, back and forth. I definitely want to... Why are they not giving out territory? That is so weird. Actually, one of our granddaughters up here on the throne of Westslavia. We'll have another one of our grandchildren. And good, the Gasavids are starting to tear themselves apart, so we should be seeing the Seljuks very shortly. Because this is a scripted collapse. Shaking to see if they're going to spawn or not. Legit nervous about the Seljuk invasions. Because they're one of the worst in historic invasions. When it comes to that mod. Now we're almost done. $6 years. firm hand, and we're going to concentrate on wealth for the rest of this character's life. Making more money. Stables, blacksmiths, you name it. Some quarries. Construction time throughout all of our territory, that would be nice, actually. Another set of trade. Stables. See. Yeah, not the buildings I want. Just to make Constantinople more ridiculous to take, we're going to actually build physical walls, even though we don't need to, but we're just going to make it even harder to fall. Consider it basically, we'll roleplay this as it's basically just reinforcing and upgrading where the walls have been basically kind of fallen apart, neglected. Take a look at the Armenian court. It's coming along. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Some blacksmiths. Seven more months we can do another holy war. Basically, we want to start grabbing this little area here and start moving it up. So we're basically going to see a reverse situation of how the Arabs invaded the Iberian Peninsula, where their rump state will be surviving here in the north for a little while. How are they even functioning? The only thing I can figure how come they're not, like, giving out their territories is that they feel like they're stable enough under the condition of how the Empire is right now. And we haven't had anybody start, like, claiming the Empire, which is nice. What should we have you do? Some loyal armories would be decent. Well, hello, thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Arcane, if you're still around, can you give them a little bit of a shout out, please? Now, what are they doing? Kingdom of... Where even is that? All the way over here. Yeah, I believe it should be how it works. Some construction. And our youngest has become a nice commander. A very nice commander, actually. Who will become Constantine the 10th. We need to get him married to somebody. Prestige. Got a Carling. Might just do that for the sake of it being, you know, hey, let's get a marriage with a Carling. Oh, we had a nice little dream. Our house is quite powerful. It is spread out through mostly our empire, and we need to actually start getting it positioned outside of the empire. Let's murder a child. Don't take that out of context. Yep. The more friendly they are, the better that they're actually going to do. Which we tend to be quite good with our council, being that it's, you know, mostly our family members. And people who are scared of us. A scared vassal is a good vassal. Oh, we finally got Jerusalem incorporated back into the empire. Now let's integrate Italy, since for some reason it decided not to whenever we reformed the Roman Empire. So weird about that. It'll be a little quicker than the actual integration, but hey. I like how the name's going across like it is. Whoever reunites Persia is going to be something irritating. Just rolling in the money. I would say we have more than what I know what to deal with, but being that we bankrupt the Empire twice already. I mean, it's a shame what happens to children when they're left unattended. Looks like we have a very high chance of having them murdered. Just a couple months. And being that we are a very powerful empire and we have a very decent dynasty, we should be able to... Bon appetit. Should be able to get the... There we go. One of our granddaughters. That's what I'll do. Matrimonial. Grr. I'm going to accept that. Maybe if we send them a gift. Send you a gift. Still won't do it. Oh well, at least we'll have somebody of our blood, which we can arrange. Yes, pay me homage, make me more famous. It's baby steps, baby steps. Throw other people in. If Russia forms and isn't like just Westlavia, we'll definitely throw a lot more effort into it. The Cuman Kipchaks have actually survived their little civil war. That's interesting. They could easily become a major threat again. For the love of God, why are these not giving out their titles? It's annoying. We have no treaties holding us back. Where would be the best one? Definitely want to push the border with Portugal. we're just gonna Grand Slam him. And our banner has become even better since our dynasty is getting more famous. And we're just gonna cut right through all of this with our overwhelming force. Some more powerful allies. What do I want? The tax man, that'll give us more money. We want money. Money out the wazoo, and boom! Right there's one of the major historic invasions. Canute! We might see the North Sea Empire come to be. Just chase them around. There we go. And we'll get there in time. And bada bing, bada boom. Another easy victory. And we'll just go right for their heart. Well, since they're not actually giving these titles out, I'm gonna do that before they actually. Basically, we've got to do it ourselves. Let's see, what time is it for me? It's 7:14 in the morning. Show that to them. Before we end the line, I'm going to see if I can actually usurp this yet. We're getting close. Getting really close, actually. It won't be long, though, before Iberia has been completely reincorporated into the Roman Empire. And we will see how all that goes next time. Make sure I save the game so we don't have a incident like we did a few episodes ago. Don't want to have to redo it all. Come on. It's fun when it doesn't cooperate. Really? Yeah, I'll deal with it afterwards. Anyways, we'll see you all later, you alligators. Remember to check out our YouTube, which is in our channel description, and come back next time, and we will see you all later, alligators. Bye-bye now.